We're just going to give another minute or two, let some people come in, and we will kick it off. So sit tight for just another minute. All right, I think that's enough time. So let's go ahead and get started. So thank you everybody for joining PTI with our next series in our webinar talking about the AP1 Smart Keypad. If you haven't heard about it yet or acquired one, we need to fix that and call your sales rep immediately. So let's go and get started. You have myself, Ryan Stewart, Vice President of Marketing and Sales here at PTI. And joining me is Logan Bennett, who will help me go through the slides and share some wisdom with you. You see Jason Price on here. Unfortunately, he got pulled into a different meeting for the moment, so he may jump in later. Otherwise, you just get to be entertained by myself and Logan. So as we get started, those of you that have joined PTI's webinars in the past, we never like to exceed 30 minutes in the conversation. Keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it beneficial and valuable to you guys, and respect your time. So as always, in most webinars, you have the ability to type in questions and thoughts that come to mind. We'll monitor those throughout our time together, answer them as they become relevant, or if we don't get your feelings hurt, they might just be answered in a later slide. And of course, if there's questions that remain at the end, we'll be sure to reach out to you and make sure you get all the information that you can. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So what we're going to cover today, right, the AP1 keypad, just high-level introduction, go through some main features and functions of it, some comparisons, some of the really cool things that you can actually do. It really opens up the capabilities that you can do, as well as even remotely. Gives you more access on site, but also you can do remotely from anywhere you are. So before we get into continuing the conversation about AP1, I want to make sure that everybody on here is up to date with the really cool advancements and progress PTI has made, specifically in the support side. Well, you guys saw, in 2024, we won ISS's Best of Business for Best Tech Support. We're really, really proud of this. A lot of you remember maybe some poor support experiences in the past. That stuff is behind us. So I want to make sure you guys are very, very well aware of the stats that we're running with, and make sure all of your customers are aware as well. Our current average 30-day rolling, average speed to answer is just over 3 minutes. Like, that's super, super cool. And you all know, compared to previous experiences, 3 minutes is amazing. Average length of call 16 minutes. So just want to remind everybody, I know it's a side note from the AP1, but super proud of that. So as you implement and utilize AP1 and the rest of the PTI suite of products into your portfolio and into your customers, PTI is here to support you. So let's get into some of the meat and potatoes of it, right? So what is the AP1? And those that aren't aware, so AP really just stands for access point, right? So if you want to throw a name on it. So AP1 is our new keypad. You see a little image up in the right-hand corner. Represents a very forward-thinking next generation keypad, right? Really elevates the overall tenant experience. Mainly through Bluetooth, right? It's a cool feature for the convenience of your tenants to use their mobile app that they're used to today. But instead of having to open up their apps and take it to the next step, the Bluetooth allows their phone to communicate directly to the iPad or to the keypad. Huge convenience and tick forward convenience for your tenants, and it's more serviceable, right? Especially for trusted partners out in the field. See an image there in the middle, right? We heard from the team of dealers and integrators out there some of the challenges, right? You want to make it easier, more serviceable. We've gone to a clamshell design so it stays together. The screws, the captive screws stay in there so you don't have little pieces falling all over the ground. We listened to you and made sure we wanted to build a product that not only delivered the convenience and features for the operator and tenants, but it was also easy and serviceable from you as well. So ask yourself, and you probably heard a lot of customers and other vendors in the industry talking about Bluetooth. So think, why is that important? It's faster, it's more reliable than internet-based command, and a lot of times you might not even have cell coverage, right? Or think about the scenario where you have a basement level of units that you don't necessarily have good cell coverage down there. Using Bluetooth doesn't rely on that, right? So it's a direct communication between my phone and the keypad is how it's going to communicate. So, and Bluetooth is configurable to fit each facility, right? There is no one size fits all. So based off of the layout and size and other features around the different access points, we can help configure that to fit the needs of that facility. And you ask yourself, well, where would I use this AP1 keypad? And quite honestly, the answer is everywhere, right? New construction, existing construction, direct replacement, swap out the VPs, Apex, any other sub product that might be out on the market that some of your customers may be using today. Swap it out and use the AP1 keypad. Entrance gates, exit gates, man doors, everywhere that you need to control the access of that point, AP1 is going to hit the need for you. So couple features that we've been hitting over. Bluetooth, of course, has been one that we've touched on a few times, but also you're looking at optional heated keypad, right? Which is really cool to offer. The AP1 comes in 2 different models, one without heated keypad and one with it, right? We have some colder climates. I know I'm up in northern Indiana. It's starting to get a little too cold for me, and a lot of parts of our industry get much colder. So gives the ability to utilize that model, plug it in, and when the temperature gets low enough, triggers it to go on and keep the keypads from freezing up. Fantastic feature for those markets that experience the colder climates. And the diagnostic screen, right? There's a much larger screen on this keypad that gives a lot more information that you can access straight from the keypad. And we'll get into that in a upcoming slide. As well as automatic over-the-wire feature or firmware updates, right? These are really convenient and really in-demand options and features that we've implemented into our solutions to, one, make sure we're putting the best product out for the industry, but also giving you, the integrators and dealers out there, the ability to truly take care of your customers and troubleshoot issues and setups either on site or remotely through SLC. Some requirements are the same for us, our RS-485 connectivity. A couple things to consider, or to keep in mind, I should say, right? To utilize Bluetooth, of course, you're using the mobile app, right? And those of on the call, you're all used to hearing the utilization of EasyCode. That will be replaced by Store ID, is the new tenant-facing mobile app. I'm not going to dig into the details of that one on this call. You'll be getting a lot more information on that changeover, timeline, features, why, all that stuff. So stay tuned for that, but you'll still need to use the tool or the mobile app. And of course, you need to be in the cloud, right? So all of your sites, they're still desktop based. They need to upgrade to the cloud to utilize the mobile app feature. Desktop cannot utilize mobile app any further. So, and one thing to call out as well, for your customers looking to utilize the Bluetooth, you must have the cloud controller in place. Now, if you have the Falcon XT in place, yes, you can still utilize the AP1 keypad, okay? But with the Falcon XT controller, the only feature you would not be able to utilize is Bluetooth. Okay, you use the keypad, just not Bluetooth. Must have the cloud controller to utilize Bluetooth. All right, couple kind of comparisons to run through from a side by side. So we're looking at the AP1 going left to right. In the middle is VP standard. And the AP1 initially just replaces the VP standard. And then we're comparing that to the Apex line as well. So you can see the pricing on the board here. Pricing is actually a little bit less than what you're standardly used to for the VP, which we just increased that price recently anyhow. But you see the 950, 995, that would be your difference between heated and non-heated. When I put the VP standard here to be discontinued, the VP standard is not discontinued today, but will be. Right, so the AP1 does replace that line, the VP line going forward. You'll be hearing in the coming months kind of an in sales date as we diminish that stock. And then comparing to the Apex. So you're looking at display, and I'm not going to go through everything on this list here, but you can see the display is much larger in the AP1, which will give you more diagnostic stuff, which we'll get into next. Warranty, as most of you should know, if you're not, all of the hardware for PTI, we've moved that to 2-year warranty quite some time ago, so I want to make sure everybody is aware of that, the standard 2-year warranty. Multilingual, Bluetooth is only available with the AP1, as well as over-the-wire updates, right? So as we're pushing out for more updates from PTI, we can push that out to all of the active AP1 sites and upgrade those facilities without the tenant or operator ever even knowing. Voltage monitoring, we'll get into that as well. I know I'm leading us up into a lot of things that are to come, but voltage monitoring and remote configuration is super important and useful for you on site to help troubleshoot and set up this stuff remotely as well, which you can only do through the AP1. Features not available in the VP and Apex. Some of the relays and inputs are on here, giving more functionality in the AP1 that you just simply didn't have in the VP. Right, to have additional inputs and relays to set up more sensors and configuration on the site, you would in the past have to upgrade to into the Apex line to do that, as the VP just didn't, whereas now that's been changed. All for your benefit. Huge feature. We'd like to throw that AP1, right? And I've said a couple times so far is the keypad itself has a lot of features for the operator and tenant on the convenience side, but giving you the dealers and integrators in the industry huge capabilities and not having to actually roll a truck to go view configuration settings, right? Or even finish the setup, the AP1 one StoreLogix cloud on the device is powered and hooked up to the network. Gives you a lot more capabilities that you can do remotely from your office or the beach or wherever you happen to be. Log into SLC and the admin portal and be able to do much more of the configuration remotely, helping you service more customers at a time, making you more efficient without having to physically roll a truck and drive somewhere. So massive feature. The industry's been asking about this for a little while, and we're super excited to deliver this for you. Then on top of that, we're talking about the diagnostic screen, right? We're going through the comparisons and some of the different things you can see, whereas before you didn't have this information easily attainable from the keypad, right? Especially with the larger display screen on it. I mean, there's a list of things you can see from within the AP1 right there, from part numbers to serial, firmware version, status of the inputs. See if lines are cut, tampered with, active, baud rate, voltage, see if there's a surge. You can, at a glance, review all of this information to help troubleshoot, see what the issue is, what the action is to resolve, and make sure that when you leave that property, that your customer, your operator is set up for success and a happy customer. And I put that all from within the AP1 keypad here that you can see if you're physically in person. But the cool thing is, and we've said a couple times, and I want to reiterate, is you can get all this useful information without physically being there in person, right? Or rolling a truck to go get it. You're going to be able to access all of this information directly from SLC, right? And you can check in on all your customers, right? Doing some quality checks, service contracts you might have in place with your customer base, to log in remotely one after another and go see, okay, what is the status over here? Let me make sure my customer is running as smoothly as possible. If I see something, let me go ahead and take care of it. Ultimately, to make sure your customer experience, that end user, the end operator, doesn't know there's ever an issue, and it's just seamless, and you're providing the best service possible with the best solutions in the industry. So super excited about the features that we've given you. At this time, I'm going to take a break and have a sip of water and share some of the screen time with Logan and go through some more information that you guys can access.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. That was some really good stuff. Kind of jumping right into what Ryan has been talking about, but more on a high level of voltage drops. So like Ryan was talking about, we're enabling our dealers to visualize the issues they're seeing at the sites. One thing we know that is common across the industry is running into voltage drops. With any electrical device, you're going to run into that with your electrical lines. What we really need to think about with our AP1 is dividing it between our heated and our non-heated version. If you're working with our non-heated version, you're not really going to have to think much differently than what you've been working with the VPs. It's pulling about 300 milliamps. With that heater, though, you're adding in an additional 800 to 1,000 milliamps. So you're looking at a total draw of about 1,300 milliamps with that heated keypad. So with the AP1 with that heater, you're going to want to just use a 2-amp power supply for each one of those, just a dedicated power supply for that heater and the keypad. For your non-heated ones, though, keep using them like you're normally using them with the VPs at about using the cloud controllers to push the power, etc. And at the bottom here, we have some tips for if you're having voltage issues in general with your heated keypads. Here's a list of things you can try here. I won't go through them in detail, but we'll pass these slides out after the webinar so you can use those helpful tips. Moving on to our next slide here. Like Ryan kind of highlighted earlier, with the AP1, we have 2 inputs and 2 relays. We just wanted to highlight how you can utilize those in some of your installations. Your customers may not be utilizing request to exit buttons or door contacts as often as you'd like. That's something you can recommend to pair with the AP1. With those 2 inputs and 2 relays, you have a lot more options on what you can do with sirens for doors left held open and how you can trigger those relays back, all using this AP1 with those 2 relays and 2 inputs. You have a lot more flexibility on how you can control elevators. You don't need to use the 8-channel relay board anymore. You can do everything with your AP1. So we're going to pass out these slides via email and the recording as well after the fact. So I encourage you to use these use case examples and some of the troubleshooting steps on the previous slide and use them as you go out into the field in the future as you push this AP1 product. And I think we're going to pass it over now to Jason and Ryan to see if we have any more questions as we wrap things up here.
Is there, and scanning through some of the questions that came through, and I think most of them, as they came through, we didn't answer them because some of the questions came through right before we hit the information on the screen. So if it didn't answer your question fully, this would be a time to go ahead and type that in to make sure that we can address that here while we're all together. Otherwise, of course, you guys know you have access to all of us day or night, especially at night. Give it one more second, see if anything's coming through.
Here's one question I got. So,
Right, Jason, talk over here so people can hear.
how does the heated keypad work? And you mentioned the operating temperature. How does that work? Can you explain that a little more?
Right. I can take that one. So we kind of want to explain that the heated keypad, it doesn't actually increase that operating temperature. So the operating zone is still the same as the non-heated one. It's just in the case that there's a freezing temperature detected on the face of the keypad. It'll activate that heater essentially just to prevent from buildup on the face of the keypad itself. So it's really for those conditions where you get ice buildup on the face of the keypad and you're trying to prevent that.
We talked about this last week, our last call for on Pro Edge, but the active internet connection. Do they need what do they need active internet to access the property with AP1?
So they don't. No. So that Bluetooth connection is a local connection to that keypad. Even if that site were to lose their internet connection, all of those access credentials are stored locally on site. So when the credentials are presented via Bluetooth to that AP1, they're able to be retrieved locally from the site, and access is able to be granted. So that's the beauty of that Bluetooth feature, that it's able to work locally without the need for an internet connection.
And the last one, Ryan, you mentioned Store ID and Easy Code. Can use both? Can use one, or which one can they use today? I know you said we're moving to it, but can they use both? It's
No, yeah. Today it's only going to be the only with Store ID, right? And again, you'll hear more information as that change out is coming over quickly. So as we're helping your customers upgrade to StoreLogic's cloud and the cloud controllers so they can utilize the full features of Bluetooth, we're also going to need to make sure that site is operating with Store ID as well. So much more information to come on that changeover, which will make that as seamless and easy on all of your customers as possible. So, and I think that's it. And we've hit our goal of always potentially.
yeah, we got one more question.
I think one might be coming in. Add your own company image. So we got a question here, especially with that larger display screen on the AP1, if you can utilize or basically upload your own company custom logo on there. I'm going to say soon. Okay, so definitely gives you the ability for some custom messaging today on the app. But there'll be some additional features coming where you can put some different imagery as well. All right, and I think that wraps up the questions for today. I appreciate everybody sticking with us. Again, if other things come to mind, make sure you reach out to us and we'll help address those and help work with your operators to upgrade their facilities. Again, you can access all the this webinar as well as additional resources through our knowledge base, through our website, as well as through our YouTube channel. So thank you for attending, and we will talk soon.